Welcome, and I'm gonna praise Update 3 for fixing the biggest goddamn issue in this goddamn game, which was the last 25% of the game as in Island 5. Because what did you do in Island 5 before Update 3? Well, you did fishing. I know there's the alternative of doing cyberspace levels, but again, I was so sick and tired of the cyberspace levels, copying and pasting Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Generation levels where I had enough, because it's just the same level, with worse controls, shorter time limit like 1 minute. And once I saw this cyberspace level, because my biggest issue with it was, why did they not add a drift feature? They added the drift feature, and it was god-awful when I said, screw it, I'm done, I'm gonna go fishing. That's more fun than dealing with these levels. Especially when Island 5 expects perfection from exploring everywhere in the 5th island and perfecting the cyberspace levels just to literally unlock the final Chaos Emerald. And then you find a Titan that stands still and moves around in a circle or flies around in a circle and let his triangle shields do all the work. And then this random Galactica arcade minigame is somehow the final boss, and they decide to be cheap by shoving in iframes when it's nearly out of health? While this Purple Moon is on about how he's so good at destroying planets, he's better than us, yet he literally can't take down one goddamn Titan. Somehow Supersonic's not losing any rings there for 8 minutes somehow, which makes narratively no sense whatsoever. And the story of this game just collapses at the last 25% as well. Like, they removed the cyber corruption somehow by pure magic. There is no explanation for it, and it made Sage look like an idiot. And then Eggman worried about Sage sacrificing herself, and I was like, that's a good scene, that might be something salvageable about it, until they straight up ruined it by Eggman somehow reviving her. Like, how? That is literally a massive explosion right there. You can't convince me someone typing in stuff can revive a character somehow. Legit, the only good thing Island 5 offered before Update 3 was the Guardian fight, and that is it. But thankfully, Update 3 is here, and it solves most of the issues I had with the last 25% of the game. And someone's claiming that Update 3 is not fun. Like, you would rather do fishing than literally play the actual different playable characters and actually get what Sonic fans has been demanding for over a goddamn decade by actually having the actual side characters being useful for once. This time I'll let someone explain the problems with Update 3, what they have. They might probably have a skill issue.
At least you can make climbing the tower sections a lot more tolerable. That's not the point.
Then why even mention this in the goddamn first place? If there's one thing I will agree with this video is, yeah, Trial 5's second boss is absolute BS. Because I analyzed Trial 5, and the first and third boss in that boss rush trial is not bad because you don't have to rely on the parry. You can figure out your own optional way how to defeat them without using the parry. But the second one, legit just go in easy mode. It is not worth pause buffering just to block these delayed or way too early attacks. And especially when hard and normal difficulty, the parry is near frame perfect. And also, someone would question, well, you said these two bosses in the boss rush is not bad. Well, it's because it's copy and pasted. Like, this is why I was against the cyberspace levels in the main game until Update 3 happened. I do not like stuff as copy and pasted, but worse. So Trial 5 is just bad to me. It's not the worst thing in the goddamn game. It's not the worst thing ever. It's just bad because the second boss really bloody ruins it.
Now, trial number 5, the only problem I have with trial 5 is the strict time limit you have.
Are you stupid? I just mentioned the issue that the problem is the second boss being absolutely BS. Because you have no choice but to use a near frame perfect parry against delayed, early, and in the second phase it removes the audio cues just to parry them just so you can attack the second boss. Because if people were taking your advice by increasing the rings, good luck trying to parry Wyvern in hard and extreme difficulty. Because you can't damage it unless you parry it, which is near frame perfect, plus with delayed and early attacks, meaning you can't do any damage with Wyvern if you don't know what the hell you're doing and you don't pause buffer. Which means giving you more rings will not solve this issue whatsoever. It will make it even worse and make people more frustrated, wondering how the hell am I supposed to damage the second boss with his parry?
Fight is always going to be Wyvern because you're always going to need a perfect pixel parry.
Always? Hold on a second, have you forgotten easy mode exists? Like, I could beat that boss rush trial with Giganto and Knight with hard difficulty because I don't have to parry. But Wyvern, you could easily change it to easy. Like, you have the options and the difficulty to do that. I already repeated myself many times here, but yes, the second boss, the Wyvern, is god-awful in its boss rush because of how unfair it is. But all the unfair parts of that boss gets removed if you change the easy difficulty because it's designed to have 2 to 3 second parries. So it's not always pixel perfect.
I hate the fact that in the 5th trial, you have to use cheap exploits like this just.
A Cyclone is somehow an exploit, even though it's a feature of the game. Okay, due to this guy being an idiot, I'm gonna explain to you the Supersonic Cyclone, what it does. What the Supersonic Cyclone does is it doubles your damage, or it, depending which boss you're fighting against, quadruples your damage. And also, I know he's gonna mention the Stomp and stuff like that. While yes, the Stomp makes it way goddamn easier, it doesn't solve the problem with the second boss being complete BS, so it doesn't even help you at all. Unless you did what I did and play on easy difficulty on the second boss.
Off. Just attack the Titan, stomp on their heads, and that's it. Lather, rinse, repeat. You get their health meter down, go to the next phase, and do the same thing.
The same thing? Are you really this dumb? Can you please do me a favor? Stop trying to make me defend Trial 5. I'm not supposed to like Trial 5. The reason why these bosses have second phases is so you literally play differently. Giganto uses more attacks you have to dodge and a quick time event with a laser, and if you use a Cyclone in it, you have to parry it, which will be difficult in Trial 5 because again, it's near frame perfect and the attacks are delayed or too late. Wyvern straight up counters a Cyclone in the second phase. Straight up, it's not useful anymore in the second phase once that happened. And the 9th phase, it moves around all over the place and you have to parry the shield. Thankfully, I figured out you could just use the Sonic Boom projectile attack, and if you have 200 rings, you can just obliterate it without parrying the boss. So yes, it's different strategies. It may be slightly different strategies, but you're not doing the same thing over and over and over again.
You're still going to be limited to 100 rings to get the final quick kill. It doesn't matter if it's on easy mode, hard mode, it's going to be the exact same thing.
Okay, have you tried cycloning, that phase of it, which shoots, the projectiles, which shoves in the cutscene, which gives you 100 rings? You can straight up bypass that scripted event, so I have no clue what the hell he's talking about. Because if you cyclone him once, he'll just shove in the laser, you parry it, and he can't shoot projectiles whatsoever, meaning you could just obliterate him easily. Like, I know the final boss has issues, poorly explaining what you're supposed to do to fight back against it. I blame the advice system they given to King Coco. Legit, that advice system is probably why the Ancients literally got obliterated. That's the only explanation I could think about it. But Update 3 final boss is way damn better than that, Galactica Arcade final boss, where it's so cheap and so weak, where it literally has to cheat just to literally stand a chance by, having iframes when it's nearly ran out of health.
All because the fans had to say, oh, your game's too easy. Fine, I'll make it hard, forcing you to play the game on easy.
How the hell is the game forcing you to play on easy? Like, I played this game on normal first try, from Kronos Island, to Chaos Island, to Rhea Island, to Oronus Island, without changing it once. There was only 2 times I had to change the literal mode to easy. One is obviously Trials 5 Wyvern boss fight because it's unfair, and to avoid playing that god-awful, purple moon that is cheap as hell, that keeps saying for 8 minutes how good he is, yet he doesn't show it.
Sonic Frontiers, right now, the 3rd update, it's not fun. It's a chore to play. Even a lot of the missions you have to do are so, is so...
That is an idiot moment right there. Yeah, Tails with a Cyclone that could fly around the goddamn map and bypass literal platforming areas and spectate is somehow strict and difficult to him somehow. Or Knuckles with the infinite flying glitch. I don't think I should count this as a glitch, but with a glide and stuff like that. I mean, Amy has a triple jump, which makes platforming easier. And plus Sonic with the platforming towers. How is any of this a chore? You're not doing fishing. You're not going through cyberspace levels that literally copy the same level design from Sonic Generations and Sonic Unleashed nearly constantly. Adding platforming in a game is not a chore. I mean, the whole point of, an open world where you have platforms is to do platforming sections.
Energy or the time to even put into this game. Remember, a lot of us work, a lot of us have lives outside of video gaming. We're not all just sitting on our asses playing video games 8 to 12 hours.
Then play the game on easy. That whole point of the difficulty of easy is so you can breeze through the game, so you can enjoy more of it if you don't have much time. And of course, I can't forget about the god-awful thumbnail there. Like, how can you be robbed when it's for free? And also, some random thumbnail I found, which I think is god-awful. Why do you give the King Coco cool sunglasses and a freaking crown? He's not as cool. He literally reuses 3 bosses we already fought. And literally shoved in this god-awful advice system just to give people, you gotta play the cyberspace levels, or else you won't know how to beat the final boss. And speaking about cyberspace levels, I think the cyberspace levels in Update 3 is the best the cyberspace levels has ever gotten, because they finally decided to do something about it instead of copy and pasting other level design from Sonic Generation and Sonic Unleashed. I mean, the King Coco's advice is so goddamn bad, Sonic literally said in the cutscene, even the writers agree it was such a god-awful freaking idea, saying, "Sorry, Master King, it looks like I'm going all after all," because they knew it was such a god-awful idea. I think the last thing I can mention as well is I think the Guardian fights here are really bloody improved. I actually had to think how to defeat Tank Plus or Caterpillar Plus. That's probably because I can't parry its projectiles, so I had to dodge. So the only issues I can think about with Sonic Frontiers have now is the going for poppin', it is unacceptable. Like, I know they know how to do poppin'. I've seen the trees, you know, getting lower quality models. For some reason, the platforming right up in the air, or the platforms, you know, just disappear because they only did the highest quality model of it. The parry is still overpowered in the actual main game, and me against most cyberspace levels now. And the god-awful Purple Moon boss fight, and the second boss in, like, the 5th trial. And that's about it I could think about with issues, you know, it's not much. And the reason why it's not much issues I have anymore is because Update 3 improved a lot. But why did I attempt Update 3? That's because Sonic Frontiers is a rushed game. It's not unfinished. It didn't release in an unfinished state, unlike Cyberpunk 2077 and No Man's Sky. It was released in a rushed state. Like, most of the game was enjoyable until, like, the last 25%. Any of the unfinished games I played, like Cyberpunk 2077 and No Man's Sky, didn't even enjoy it in, like, a few hours at release because it's unplayable. It was released in an unfinished state.
For anyone questioning if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, I mean, I played this game for 30 hours. Maybe that's why. Maybe because I know what I'm talking about. And if anyone questions what the hell I'm talking about and I should prove it, I will gladly show you a video proving me playing this game, because it's actually enjoyable.
But the other question remains, is Sonic Frontiers even worth $100? The answer for me is no, wait for a price drop. And if you see a price drop, then get it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and if you have any issues with this video, comment it down below. Goodbye.